And now, a very important message. Get that nigger woman out of your head. Get that nigger woman out of your head. And this is a message to you brothers out there in the faith. All right? If you want to succeed in life, if you want to succeed primarily in this truth, get that nigger woman out of your head. Again, I'm talking to you brothers that are in the faith. Let me start by saying all praises and glories due to Yahweh Ba'al Shai Ba'al Shem Rakah Kwadash. Shalom to the elect, the brothers and true sisters of the household of faith. And that being said, let me preface this message by saying I'm not talking about the sisters who are trying to do right in this faith, who are trying to do right, which there are very, very, very few of them. Okay, I'm not talking to you. All right? This message is not to belittle you. All right? I'm talking about the rest of you women with that feminist, combative attitude, especially you so-called black women. Okay? All right? Those are the women that you brothers got to watch out for. Okay? And the message is very simple. Get that nigger woman out of your head. You brothers would do a lot better in this knowledge, this truth, if you would get that nigger woman out of your head. The reason why you have a problem with leadership in the ministry is because you got that nigger woman in your head. Okay, you learned that shit from the nigger woman because you were raised by her. All of us were. Okay? But there's a point in time where we have to become men. In Isaiah 46:8, it says, remember this and show yourselves men. Now, you can't become a man of the Lord if you got that nigger woman in your head. All right? So the first thing you got to do, and believe you me, I practice what I preach. The first thing you got to do is get that nigger woman out of your head. Then you'll see clearly. Then you'll begin to think clearly. Then you'll begin to be a man. You'll begin to think like a man. You'll begin to act like a man. Okay? You learn to take orders. Because for you to give orders, you got to know how to take orders. Okay? Being in this ministry, there's certain times that you have to take orders. An order is given to you, you follow the order, and you do it. Okay? Now, of course, I'm talking about a common sense order. I'm not talking about an order coming from a person of unsound mind. I'm talking about an order coming from a brother in the faith that is of sound mind. You know, some of us, we get all emotional when we get an order. You know, that nigger woman goes off in our head. Who does he think he's talking to? He can't talk to me like that. That's that nigger woman in your head. And you got to get that nigger woman out of your head because she's notorious for that. The nigger woman is notorious for not taking orders, for being combative, all right, for being disrespectful, for being flippant. She's notorious for that. The whole world knows this. So many of us were raised by the so-called black woman, and we were given that contagion, all right? So we gotta decompress, man. We gotta get rid of that contagion, okay? And that's our first step to becoming a man, okay? And I'm talking about your mother. It begins with your mother, all right? I remember when I was coming up under my mother, some of the stuff she would say, I had to look at her like, what? You know, I'll never forget the time where I was cursing this chick out over the phone. I was cursing her out, a royal curse out. Some chick I was dealing with. And my mother, after I got off the phone, she looked at me and she said, you shouldn't talk to women like that. It's not good to talk to women like that. And I remember looking at her like, what? And I had to be around 16 years old. Okay? So it starts with our mothers, man. Okay? See, if we were raised by real, let's say we were raised from a little boy, right? We were raised by real tough, manly men. Man, could you imagine, could you imagine the kind of spirit we would have? All right, we would have that spirit like a person look at you like, say, I ain't messing with this guy, you know? Everything about you would be manly, you know? And you would command respect, you see? But sadly enough, we weren't. You know, many of us were raised by the so-called black woman, man. I'm talking to you brothers, right? And then the women, you know, the rest of the women of our nation. But mainly, I'm focusing mainly on the so-called black woman. And brothers that have been victims of her. You got to get her out of your head, man. You know, you got to get her out of your head. A lot of you brothers in the faith, the reason why you don't do videos like you're supposed to is because you got that nigger woman in your head. I'm telling you. If the nigger woman bark an order at you, you'll follow it. You won't even question it. You'll follow it. All right? She Hey, what does the scripture say? It says, of the beginning of women came sin, and through her we all died. And that's talking about the so-called black woman. That's talking about Eve. That was a known saying in the book, Nature. I believe it was Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. There's a passage in that book where it says it was a well-known saying among the Jews, right? During the Babylonian Empire, they used to quote that. All right. Of women came the beginning of sin, and through her we all died. We were all brought down. We were all taken down from our power through that woman. Okay. I'm talking about Eve, the so-called black woman. Okay. And that's scriptural. So it's the same thing now. You know, it's the same thing now, man. Women in general will destroy you if you let them, if you don't control them. That's why they have to be controlled. But especially that so-called black woman, man. You know why many of these jakes are in jail or are in the grave? You got it. Because of the so-called black woman. All right. They live their life trying to please the so-called black woman. And there's no pleasing her. It's almost impossible to please her. All right. And she's miserable. She's contentious. All right. She's just no good. It is what it is. And if anything, social media has showed you that, if you've been paying attention. Now, us brothers that's been calling to this knowledge, this truth, we're supposed to be on a higher level. We're supposed to see through bullshit like that. So you're supposed to come to the realization that, you know who's holding me back? The so-called black woman. And get her out of your head. I'm telling you. Get her out of your head. You want to be successful in this knowledge, this truth, spiritually? Get her out of your head. She's not helping you. She's destroying you. Okay? She is not helping you. She is destroying you. And I'm speaking based upon experience. And here's a news flash for you brothers. We don't need them. They need us. We don't need them, man. We carry the seed. Have you not read the scripture? As a matter of fact, let me go to the scripture for you. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. We're the precious ones, us men. And we don't need them. We don't need the so-called black woman. We don't need her. She needs us. All right? She needs us. We don't need her. We can go and lay down with any other nation. All right? And bring back our seed. Bring back our kind. Because we carry the seed, us men. Now, once you understand that revelation, then you begin to get the so-called black woman out of your head. She's not the precious one. You are, brother. You are the precious one, not her. Don't let that illusion, all right, destroy you, man. That these women are precious. They're not precious. The men are precious. 1 Corinthians 11 and 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. See that? You know how profound that is? For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. The woman came from our seed, from our nutsack. All the woman is an incubator. That's all she is. Okay? And one thing I learned from dealing with my mother when I came into the truth, I learned that even your own mother, she's just another woman. Of course, you show her respect. That's scriptural. It says, honor thy father and thy mother. But at the end of the day, your mother is just another woman. Okay? Filled with emotions. They reason by emotions. You know, they don't reason by facts. You see what I'm saying? So we got to get that nigger woman out of our heads. Okay? 1 Corinthians 11 and 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Now, feminism has destroyed that. Okay, feminism teaches you the exact opposite. It's all about the woman put on a pedestal. You remember that song by Jaheim, which you don't even hear about him anymore. He's probably working at McDonald's or probably he got a job at UPS because he damn sure ain't out there on the charts, burning up the charts like he used to. Anyway, the point is, he did a song called Put That Woman First. And look at his life. All right? Yeah, put that woman first, all right? That's that feminism crap. That's that feminism bullshit. Okay? And some of you brothers, you come into this knowledge, this truth with that mentality. Put that woman first. You haven't gotten that nigger woman out of your head, man. And that's why you're not doing your videos. That's why you're not doing what you're supposed to do. That's why you're slothful. Okay? Put that nigger woman out of your head, man. She's not the precious one. She's not the prize. You are. Focus on your path. And anyone that's hindering you from your path, get them away from you, especially the so-called black woman. if you're dealing with her, which you shouldn't be dealing with her anyway. You know why a lot of brothers deal with the so-called black woman is because they don't believe in themselves. All right, even dating statistics proves it, that they're the least desired woman among women. All right, it is what it is, man. Okay, so if you want to be successful spiritually in this thing of ours, get that nigga woman out of your head. Okay, that's the smartest thing you can do. All right, because there's nothing really good about them. Okay, and they've made it so, man. All right, they have made it so. There's only a few of them. I mean, a precious few that have the right temperament, the right mentality that us men that are in this knowledge, this truth can deal with. Very few. But the majority of them, whether they be them ghetto slags or them so-called, what do you call it? Went to not high school, but went to college and so-called educated, so-called black women. They're both dysfunctional. All right, and I'm talking about the ghetto slags and the ones who claim that they're educated. They're both dysfunctional, and they don't add to this. And I'm talking to you brothers that are in the faith. They don't add to this thing of ours. They take away from it. So the smartest thing you can do is get that nigga woman out of your head. You know, all these silly emotions that us men have, we learned that from women, man. Especially those of us who've been raised by the so-called black woman. Okay. Now, fortunately for me, in my household, my father was the king. He laid down the law. That is absolute truth. Okay, and I watch how my father operated with my mother. He didn't take her bullshit. Okay, he's a typical so-called West Indian. Those are facts, and I saw it in the house. I used to get away with shit from my mother that I couldn't with my father, because my father was like super vigilant. He'd know I was up to some bullshit, and he checked me on it quick. All right, these are facts. I'm telling you, these are facts. So I saw it in my house. So I know for a fact that a lot of you brothers, your downfall is you can't get that nigga woman out of your head. You can't get her out of your head. Get her out of your head. A lot of you brothers are going to perish because of these women, especially a so-called black woman. She's going to cause you to lose your crown. She's going to cause you to fall out the truth. And here's the thing. When you're dealing with a woman and she's causing you to fall out the truth, let's say you do fall out the truth to please her, she's going to leave you. Right after you fall out the truth, she's going to leave you. She's like a virus. She destroyed you. Now she's going on to the next guy. Smarten up, man. I'm say it like a mobster. Smarten up. Get that nigga woman out of your head. I'm telling you, that's the smartest thing you can do. Get that nigga woman out of your head. You'll become more productive, especially in this knowledge, this truth. You'll study more. You'll do more videos. You'll be more focused if you just get that nigga woman out of your head. How else could I put it? Hey, some of you brothers, that's how you got to be talked to rough, man. Hey, Israel, we're rough people. The Lord said the harder they make their foreheads, the harder we make our foreheads. Now what? Okay? We don't believe in no fucking PC crap, man. Politically, we don't practice that bullshit here. We speak candidly and openly. Candidly and openly. If you get emotional by it, if you get butthurt by it, oh well. I don't know what to tell you. But see, that goes back to the nigga woman. We should be men. We should be able to speak to men as men. Okay? But again, we learn all that bullshit from the so-called black woman. She's doing a masterful job for the so-called white man. Esau, our main enemy. Okay? The so-called white man, Esau, he got your woman. He got her mind. Okay? And he's using her against you, so-called black man, to destroy you. Again, I'll say it again. And these are facts. Many of the men that you see in jail or dead, all right, it was over the so-called black woman. Facts. Okay? So think about that, man. Anyway, I think I've said enough. If you found this video, I'm speaking to you brothers, right? Again, I wasn't speaking to your sisters who's trying to do right. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you brothers that have a sound mind. If you felt that you were edified by this video, let me know in the comment section. All right? Now, all of you that disagree, just keep your opinions to yourself. All right? I'm speaking based on fact. You want to be successful in this ministry? Get that nigga woman out of your head.